tonight.
Well, you can't save a life if they're dead.
A report reveals a record-breaking year looms for drug toxicity deaths in our province. Also, Regina City councillors discuss dissolving the Regina Exhibition Association amid serious financial concerns. Plus,
I miss them all.
a Prince Albert man is relieved to see his wife and kids make it safely out of Gaza.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, November 15th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. The opposition NDP is questioning the rates of a motel stay for a social services client at a Regina property owned by a Saskatchewan Party MLA. The government says no rules were broken. Adam Hunter has the details.
Evelyn Harper came to the legislature 2 weeks ago to tell her story of being evicted from a government care home and moving into the Sunrise Motel temporarily. She has since found stable housing, but stayed at the motel from October 27th to November 10th. Minister of Social Services Jean Mikowski offered to pay Harper's motel bills. Opposition NDP MLA Mira Conway says the senior paid $132 her first night, but that rose by $30 once the government started covering the bill. Eventually, the rate rose to $200 per night.
Ms. Harper did not change rooms. Ms. Harper did not receive any additional services from Sunrise staff. The facts show that the only difference is that the Ministry of Social Services got involved and offered to foot the bill with taxpayer dollars.
Conway says the motel told her the average price is between $89 to $99 a night. She says the price increase raises questions.
Why did Gary Gruel's Sunrise Motel jack up the rates as soon as the Ministry of Social Services began paying? How many social services recipients have been referred to the Sunrise Motel?
Conway says Harper was also billed for her damage deposit, which was not returned. The Minister of Social Services says the ministry does not have a standing contract with the motel.
Anybody know who's tried to book a hotel on weekends or at certain times of the year? I don't know in this case exactly, but Mr. Speaker, hotel rates do fluctuate from time to time, Mr. Speaker. But again, disappointing. The NDP is imputing an honourable member of this House.
The government says Gruel does not work at the hotel or manage its day-to-day operations. He was not made available for an interview. His brother passed away earlier on Wednesday. Adam Hunter, CBC News, Regina.
Regina City Council will soon consider if it should dissolve the municipal corporation that oversees many of the city's events. Regina Exhibition Association Limited, or REAL, operates the Brand Centre and Mosaic Stadium, as well as hosts events like the Frost Festival, Agribition, and the Queen City X. On Wednesday, the city's executive committee heard the organization's business model is no longer sustainable without subsidy from the city. REAL has requested $5.8 million for next year's budget, 5 times more than it received last year. That had Councillor Lori Bershiani asking for a report about the implications of dissolving REAL.
This is one scenario that I think really needs to be considered. And for both, for the risks that we take it on, but also for maybe there are some cost savings. I don't know.
When I talked about all options being on the table, I think it all needs to be looked at from that perspective.
The motion was approved in a 5-4 vote. If REAL were to be dissolved, the City of Regina would take on its assets and its debts and administer the campus located in downtown Regina. Administration won't be able to prepare the report for the city's budget debate next month. Instead, it is to come back to council by the second quarter of next year. It is a startling statistic. At least one person has died because of drugs per day in our province this year. That's according to the latest number from the Saskatchewan Coroner Service. And as Jesse Anton reports, it has health and addictions experts pushing for prevention.
Well, you can't save a life if they're dead. So how are you supposed to put someone in rehab if they're dead?
Emil Garapis says until the Saskatchewan government puts money into harm reduction like this safe supervised consumption site in Regina, the province will continue to see drug toxicity deaths rise.
We're not protecting the people who are currently using, and we're not protecting their lives, so they're just dropping like flies.
Between January 1st and November 2nd of this year, the Saskatchewan Coroner Service says there were 395 confirmed or suspected drug deaths, most of them caused by opioids like fentanyl. It's 27 more than in all of last year and only a dozen shy of the total in 2021, the province's worst year on record. The opposition NDP brought forward these numbers in the legislature this week.
These are Saskatchewan people, families who are forever changed when they lose someone to addictions.
The opposition says the province's current mental health and addiction strategy is not working. The plan announced last month includes adding 500 new treatment spaces and a central intake system by 2028. That's what the health minister touted when asked about the latest stats from the coroner's service.
By and large, I would say people that are struggling with addictions are looking for treatment. They're looking for recovery. They're looking to turn their lives around.
Health and addictions experts agree treatment is important, but they say so is prevention.
It's twofold. It's not either or. This is a continuum of care that meets people where they're at and leaves the door open for them to move along when they're ready.
Back at the safe consumption site, Garapis says he and his team are prepared to step up and help with overdose prevention. They just need money to stay open past 4 in the afternoon.
All of these people that I see, they're all human beings. They all cry. They all have terrible days, and they still have good days as well too. And it's just tough because nobody cares about them and nobody's there for them.
But Garapis says many people like him working in harm reduction want to be there, if only they had financial support from the provincial government. But the province has said many times it's not interested. Jesse Anton, CBC News, Regina.
To the other side of the world now, where the Israeli military has staged a major operation inside a hospital in Gaza. Israeli Defense Force troops searched the Al-Shifa hospital for several hours. Israel says its soldiers found weapons and other evidence that the facility was being used as cover by Hamas.
A live grenade, ammunition, fighting vest with insignia.
The raid started overnight, and Israel has released video, it says, showing Hamas weapons and a command and control center. It also says a number of militants were killed. Hamas denies it's using the Al-Shifa hospital as a base. There has been heavy fighting around the site for days. Video released by the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry claims to show the aftermath of Israeli shelling that happened before the raid. The war in Gaza has many people in Saskatchewan worried about loved ones in the region. A Prince Albert man says he's relieved his family has finally made it out of Gaza safe. He's been able to sleep for weeks, so worried about his wife and 4 children trapped in the conflict zone. As Pertush Dayal reports, they've crossed the border into Egypt and will return to Saskatchewan soon.
My little girl, Maria, I miss her too much.
Abdullah Al-Garbawi is watching video captured by a CBC News crew in Cairo that shows his wife Sabrine and 4 kids after they escaped Gaza.
I'm really happy that my family, they are safe now.
Al-Garbawi's wife and children were visiting family in Gaza when the conflict began. He was back in Prince Albert.
Those are the toys here, they are everywhere.
Unable to sleep, tormented by fear for his family. Sabrine changed houses up to 7 times, desperately trying to stay a step ahead of airstrikes.
And we are so scared at the night where we should go. Every place is destroyed. Every place, no place where we should go.
She went to the border for like 5 times. And every time she went there, she stayed with the kids for whole day. From the morning until 5 o'clock, she's waiting in case they open it. And finally, they made it to safety in Egypt now. She's with the 4 kids alone.
Al-Garbawi says it has been a traumatic experience for his kids. And now he worries about their extended family still in the thick of it, especially with the ongoing shortage of food and drinking water.
But God was helping them, and there is a rain came last night, so they imagine you people waiting the rain to come to drink water. It's hard situation there.
The situation there is very hard, and they are not safe. Where they should go to the hospital, but there is nothing.
Al-Garbawi just has one request.
Ceasefire, please. This is the word we need, because these people, they deserve the life. It's not logic. It's what's happening there. It's horrible.
Al-Garbawi says his wife and children will travel back to Canada within the next week. He can't wait to have them home and for them to sleep in their own beds. Pratish Dayal, CBC News, Prince Albert.
Here at home, some local politicians are taking a stance on the conflict. Earlier this week, Saskatoon's mayor posted on social media calling for a ceasefire. And today, at the legislature, opposition NDP leader Carla Beck called for the same.
We hear from community members of increased rise in hate and discrimination, whether it be anti-Semitic, anti-Palestinian, or Islamophobic hate. Hate in all of its forms has no place in Saskatchewan. For many in our province, the realities of this war are all too real. This is a time to call for unity, a time to grieve together, and a time to stand together in solidarity. Thank you.
Meanwhile, the Saskatchewan government continues to stand behind Israel. In the days after the attacks began, the province raised that country's flag in front of the legislature. The government also provided Israel with $100,000 in emergency aid. Hockey season is underway in most Saskatchewan communities, but not in the village of Edenwald east of Regina. Its arena has been infested by hungry beetles, more commonly found on the west coast. Laura Sharpaletti has more on plans to save the rink.
This rink is the heart of the small Saskatchewan village of Edenwald, but it's been shut down since mid-October. That's after a wood-boring beetle, rare to Saskatchewan, was found at the rink.
All the beams, so it's about every 9 feet, that's about how far apart the beams are. And if you look up, you can see some of the extra frost that's coming down.
An entomologist determined that the intruder is a powder post beetle, a coastal insect that likes damp, hard wood, and it's been chewing at parts of the rink for years now. The rink board can only speculate as to how the bug got here in the first place.
Second engineer that we had come in suggested that it could have been anything, maybe old pallet, untreated wood, something like that, and could have just been here for years, 10, 15 years, and just now we're seeing it sort of in plague numbers. Yeah, going up to about 16 feet is the worst damage.
The rink is one of the only public buildings in the town. Jordan Nargang says it's very important not just to Edenwald, but surrounding towns and First Nations as well.
Like right now we're building a daycare in town and they use our facility for their projects and other things. So now with us being out of business, it hurts their fundraising as well.
Nargang says the rink will need to raise money to fix the damage.
Now we have enough funds on hand to get the process started with the engineering and some fumigation. So by next summer we will need extra funds, which include anything from Chase the Ace, GoFundMe's. We're currently going for different grants right now.
The board is hiring an engineering firm out of New Brunswick that specializes in wood structures to do a full assessment of the damage. Nargang says the board hopes the rink will be ready to welcome back sports fans next season. Laura Sharpaletti, CBC News, Edenwald.
Just like this.
An act of pure kindness for people who need a little warmth this winter. Today, volunteers participated in the 9th annual Scarves in the Park with Angels for Warmth. It happens every year in Regina's Victoria Park downtown. The items tied to the trees. 13,000 knitted, crocheted, and quilted items are created and distributed by the volunteer group each year for those who need the warmth. Stay with us. Ethan has your weather forecast after the break. Welcome back. It is a tourist attraction any time of the year, but London's Royal Botanical Gardens is lighting up for the holidays again this year. The gardens at Kew are sparkling and glittering. Visitors can admire illuminated flowers that are 3 meters high and check out one of the longest light tunnels ever at the gardens. The lights display is now in its 11th year, and while it's memorable on its own, it's apparently inspirational too. The team that works there says there's a proposal almost every year.
The weather update is brought to you by Capital GMC Buick Cadillac. 2023 model clearout is on now.
Our weather specialist Ethan Williams joins me now. Do you have your weather cauldron going? Because I hear something's brewing.
Yeah, we got a little bit of activity headed our way here, Sam. And as we head through these probably next 12 or so hours, we're looking at things getting a little bit messy. We do have a snowfall warning that has now been issued for south central and southwestern Saskatchewan. Assiniboia, Gravelbourg, Coronach area, probably looking for maybe 5 to 10 centimeters of snow with a system moving through this evening and through the overnight. But it's really in the southwest corner where we could see highest amounts of snow, particularly around Val Marie in the Cypress Hills, Grasslands National Park. With that being a little bit higher elevation, that means that we could start to see that snow condense a little bit more and fall a little bit heavier. And as well, there is the possibility of some freezing rain in extreme southwestern Saskatchewan. You can see a little bit of rain falling actually right now, changing over to snow in that part of the province, and some of the heavier bands beginning to move in and move eastward through that warning area, and also along the Trans-Canada corridor near the Alberta border. So a look at how things are going to play out. I think through the evening hours tonight, this is going to quickly change over to snow and impact again really that far southwest corner. That'll spread eastward as we head through the overnight tonight. There could be some heavier pockets south of Regina as we head into early tomorrow morning, but really by the commute tomorrow, things very quickly clear out. High pressure begins moving in behind this, and that gives us actually a nice sunny day tomorrow, at least afternoon through south and central. A little bit of passing cloud cover still, though, in the north as we head through Friday, but things will stay relatively clear in the southern half of the province. So total amounts, again, maybe a little bit of an overshoot here, but again, the 10 to 15 centimeter range likely in around the Val Marie area and in the Cypress Hills. Trans-Canada corridor, including Regina, probably 2 to 4 centimeters at the most. Southeast corner, maybe upwards of 5. But as you can see, as you go north of the Trans-Canada there, barely anything expected, including in Saskatoon. I don't think we're really looking for any snow for you folks. The good news is we're not looking for winds to pick up all too much, so visibility won't be all that reduced because of blowing snow, but still at times it would be good to check that highway hotline if you're heading out tomorrow morning. And even as we head through Friday, a little bit breezy here and there, but overall, as you can see for Regina, we will clear out pretty quickly, be a bit breezy tomorrow. And again, our temperature's a little cooler on the other side of this system. We'll probably be below freezing tomorrow before jumping above freezing once again and seeing really clear skies. Heading into the beginning of next week, though, you notice we start to see that cool down happening. Temperatures dropping back into the minuses, the overnight lows getting back close to those minus double-digit temperatures. Could be a little bit breezy on Monday as well, and some possible snow flurries Wednesday. For Saskatoon, again, you will likely avoid this system, so you'll be mostly sunny tomorrow with a bit of breezy conditions here and there. Nearly single digits or almost double digits above freezing as we head into the weekend before that drops off pretty quickly heading into the beginning of next week. So some nice weather ahead, Sam, but looks like we get more seasonal conditions as we go along.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
Well, this is timely given the snow. The government's reminding people to trip plan this winter using the highway hotline. Snowplow operators regularly inspect provincial roads to determine if plowing, salting, or sanding is required and report back. You can download it as an app, visit the government's website, or call 511. We'll be back after the break. Joining boxing at any age could be daunting. 10-year-old Michael Moser is starting to prove himself as a skilled boxer while also improving his fitness and health. This includes running 10-kilometer races. His determination and hard work is an inspiration for anyone of any age.
If someone tries to attack me, I can ignore him. If someone hits me, I can not feel anything.
His older brother, James, had an inclination to box. So it was not only Michael, but his two younger siblings, Joshua and Eli.
Like if they ask me like, how did you get so talented and all that, I'd like teach them how coach teach me.
As a parent, I'd like to see the perseverance that the kids start into something and they just don't quit. They, take it for at least for a few years.
I skip and run. The longest I've run was for 52 minutes.
He's never run 10 kilometers before like he did last year during the marathon, but they're always running around the farm. It boils down to what have you learned in your class, from your boxing class. So if you're getting punched, what are you going to do next time you get in the ring to protect yourself from that happening?
I'd take boxing lessons from him. Ethan's back with one last look at your weather.
Yeah, well, on that note, we'll get a bit of a left jab of snow tonight through the province, especially in Regina. We are looking for that light snow beginning around midnight and a little bit of wind just below the freezing mark. And by the time we get to tomorrow morning, though, as I say, I think things will be pretty much cleared out by 8 a.m. Mix of sun and cloud, -5, likely feeling closer to -10 with a little bit of wind. Warming up to around -3. And again, clouds clearing away. A bit breezy in the afternoon. We're warming up to a high of around -1 or so. Saskatoon, you're avoiding the moisture, but you will still be mostly cloudy around midnight. Getting into the morning tomorrow, though, again, with you avoiding that system, we'll see mostly sunny conditions. Again, a little bit of wind making that -7 feel closer to around -12. By the afternoon, though, full sunshine, -1 and a little bit of wind, but we could just once again get over that freezing mark in Saskatoon tomorrow, Sam.
All right, thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
And before we leave you tonight, the kids at Thompson Community School in Regina spent the day learning about our feathered friends to help pick the city's official bird. The elementary school is part of a new partnership with the Royal Saskatchewan Museum and Nature Saskatchewan. Regina was officially declared a bird city last year through Nature Canada's Bird Friendly City program. And last month, the city launched a campaign to find its own official bird. Thompson has a new program for K-8 students that involves land-based learning. So the partnership with the kids will help decide the top 6 birds for the vote that's coming up.
Birds are a really important bioindicator. If we have low bird populations, we know that there's kind of something going wrong in our environment. And so when kids learn about these, then they're actually learning about their whole ecosystem, about insects and human interaction and all sorts of science-based things that you don't, when you think of a bird, you don't really think about all the connections, but there's lots of different connections to science.
We went like into the woods over there and we were like looking for birds' nests and stuff. I learned that every single hour they need food to survive and they need shelter and water. They get some exercise and stay healthy and learn about more interesting facts about birds.
The students did several activities, including an obstacle course that mimics the challenges birds face during migration. They'll also be defending one of the top 6 birds ahead of the vote in December. And that is it for us tonight. For news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/sask, subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel, or download the CBC News app on your phone. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.